Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. Humanity has come up with a number of possibilities as to what happens to us after we die, where our spirit, soul, or consciousness go when our physical bodies have run their course. Many cultures believe that when a person died, their spirit would travel to a realm of the dead, perhaps a paradise where they may rest for all eternity, or a realm of eternal suffering as penance for dishonest deeds performed in life. But one of the most chilling ideas to ever spring from the human mind is the idea of spirits of the dead remaining trapped in the mortal world, manifesting as disembodied apparitions, as ghosts. Stories of ghosts appear in every culture on Earth, going as far back as the Stone Age, and appearing in the earliest of written texts, based around nigh-universal beliefs of a person's spirit existing separately from their body, and continuing to live on after they die. While specific details on ghosts tend to vary from culture to culture, certain aspects remain constant. They are the shades of the deceased represented by a non-corporeal body, one that may even closely resemble their living appearance, or one that may not even be perceived by the living. They are able to interact with the living world and its inhabitants on a limited basis, having restricted ranges or only being able to communicate in certain ways. And most importantly, they are always trapped in the living world for a reason, and often not for a happy reason. Reasons as to why ghosts would remain on Earth instead of moving on to an afterlife often concerns the manner of their death. Those who die violent or tragic deaths were said to return to haunt those responsible, or those who may put others in similar situations, or haunt the living out of a desire for revenge. Many ghost stories feature an apparition coming back to deliver an important message to the living, or to warn them away from danger. Additionally, there are legends and traditions that dictate that the dead can return to the material world during a certain time of year, able to interact with the living and see their legacy, such as the Celtic tradition of Samhain, the predecessor to All Hallows' Eve and modern-day Halloween, and the Hungry Ghost Festival, observed and celebrated in China. More often than not, ghosts themselves are of a tragic nature, and the spirit in question is often mournful, trapped in a never-ending state of anguish. In Mesopotamian lore, in the 12th tablet of the Epic of Gilgamesh, the eponymous hero encounters the ghost of his dear friend Enkidu, and together they reminisce about life and discuss the manner of the afterlife. In Greek mythology, ghosts were often a result of those who could not pay Charon, the boatman who ferried the dead to the realm of Hades, but may also be summoned through means of an oracle or a blood sacrifice, such as in the Odyssey, when the king of Ithaca, Odysseus, summoned the shade of the prophet Tiresias in order to gain information on his perilous return home from Troy. Japanese mythology has the Yurei, ghosts of people who are unable or unwilling to pass on to the next world until a purpose is fulfilled. Irish legend tells of Stingy Jack, who was once a cruel and dishonest man in life, who even managed to make a fool out of the devil himself, barring him from both heaven and hell, and forcing him to wander the earth, forever guided by a light in a carved turnip. His tale influencing today's tradition of jack-o'-lanterns on Halloween. While ghosts are often sorrowful and tragic in nature, There are more than a few examples of a vengeful spirit in legend who terrorizes the living, harassing them, scaring them, and even attacking them with the intent to kill. Nigerian folklore tells of Madame Koi Koi, who haunts school campuses, engaging in poltergeist-like activity and attacking lone students. In Japanese mythology, the Onryo are vengeful spirits of those who had died in an accident, by betrayal, or in battle, and then proceed to take out their rage and pain on the living, often in violent and bloody ways. English folklore has Herne the Hunter, a mysterious antlered figure who rides through Windsor Great Park and causes livestock to produce blood instead of milk. Hindu mythology has the Vatala, a hostile spirit that could take possession of any corpse and cause mayhem from vandalism to miscarriage. Andean mythology of South America has the Hapanunu, ancestral spirits who fly through the night and abduct children to eat. Indonesian folklore claims that women who die in childbirth may return as the Kuntilnak, appearing during the full moon to attack pregnant women, devour infants, and vampirically drain the blood of men. Many countries of Northern Europe have the Wild Hunt, a procession of spectral hunters on horseback who stampede through the wilds of the world and catch the souls of mortals who witness their hunt, as a hunter would catch a deer. Whether or not a ghost is harmless or malevolent in nature, or if there is a purpose as to why they remain in the realm of the living, many people, to this very day, strongly believe in the existence of ghosts. One could make the very strong argument that ghosts may be the most widely believed in of supernatural anomalies, with alleged sightings and encounters being recorded for millennia. In the 1st century CE, Roman author and statesman Pliny the Younger recorded one of the first notable ghost stories in his letters, telling the story of the specter of an old man with a long beard and rattling chains haunting his house in Athens. Centuries later, in 856 CE, came the first reporting of a poltergeist, detailing how a farmhouse in Germany fell victim to a spirit that would hurl stones and light fires on the property. In the following centuries, practically every place on Earth has had a local legend of a haunting, and for centuries, people have claimed to have come into contact with apparitions of the dead, many of which seem to come in common forms. Souls that were victims of violence and torture are said to haunt places where bloodshed and cruelty took place, such as the Tower of London or Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, one of the premier battlefields of the American Civil War. There are countless legends of the White Lady, beautiful young women who would die due to tragic circumstances and manifest themselves wearing flowing white gowns, such as Latin America's La Llorona and the Philippines' White Lady of Balete Drive in Quezon City. Vanishing hitchhikers are seen haunting roadways at night, hailing down passing cars, and disappearing when someone pulls over to assist. Many ghosts are said to be headless, either carrying their dismembered head in their hands, or eternally searching for it, and in some cases, may even chase down travelers in an attempt to take their heads, such as the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow. Ghostly animals are also commonly reported, with such tales as cats that appear and vanish without a trace, phantom horses that trot through fields and suddenly disappear, black dogs that bring about misfortune to those who see them, and even bears that roam desolate forests and charge hikers and hunters. There are even legends of ghost ships such as the Flying Dutchman, and ghost trains like Lincoln's funeral train, doomed to forever repeat their final voyages. Ancient legends and modern reports of ghosts and paranormal occurrences have led to countless studies and investigations to prove whether or not ghosts really exist and manifest in reality, with the results leaning heavily towards non-existence, being labeled as impossible to falsify, and ghost hunting being considered a pseudoscience. Ghosts are some of the most widespread figures of myth and legend, appearing in every single culture on Earth, reflecting a culture's values and their beliefs regarding the afterlife. As a result, ghosts have become the most widely reported paranormal phenomenon in history, with a ghost legend rising from nearly every city in the world. Additionally, ghosts and ghost stories have become staples of horror and fantasy fiction, appearing in countless stories of every entertainment medium. From classic literature, such as the works of Shakespeare and Charles Dickens, to more contemporary stories written by J.R.R. Tolkien and Stephen King, to film and television, including Poltergeist, The Conjuring, Casper, and American Horror Story, just to name a few. Are ghosts truly real? Modern science says no. But there is always something out there, not so easily explained. And whether or not they are truly found in this world, ghosts have been an integral part of human culture since the very beginning, and will likely always have a place within human culture for centuries to come.